Smackdown starts off with Rey Mysterio. He comes out, he cuts a promo, he ends up mentioning the Rumble, mentioned when he mentioned back in 2006 when he won the Rumble, doing it for Eddie, became world champion. Then Kevin Owens comes out. He ends up mentioning how much he respects Rey Mysterio, lists off all the accomplishments that he has, that he's done in WWE, mention him being the current WWE champion. And then he ends up saying that he wants a match with Rey Mysterio because that's the one thing he hasn't done, and that he would want Rey Mysterio to choose him when Rey Mysterio wins the Rumble. Rey Mysterio responds back and ends up saying that Kevin Owens is not the champion, Cody is the champion. Kevin Owens ends up getting angry. Rey Mysterio responds back and ends up saying that Kevin Owens is starting to remind him of his son Dominic. And then they brawl with Rey Mysterio standing tall, which will lead into a match later on in the show. I enjoyed this segment. I was still confused on why now later in the show we realize why they end up having this match, but because it's still a bit confusing on why Rey Mysterio was on the show. Now he ended up saying that he requested to be on the show. I guess that's a good enough reason, but I do still enjoy the fact that Kevin Owens is just holding around, going around with the title, holding it, still saying that he's the real champion. I still love what they're doing with Kevin Owens. Afterwards, we end up getting Nia Jax, Candice Ray versus Bianca and Naomi. Really didn't care for this match because I felt like it was very predictable, and it was very predictable. Bianca and Naomi wins. Not gonna really speak about the match. Not really much to go over. The main thing they keep trying to portray is who attacked Jade. In the segment, Naomi and Bianca, I wouldn't say they had friction, but Naomi was kind of, I wouldn't, I can't really explain it, but it looks like they're kind of teasing some friction between them eventually. With the whole Jade and Bianca, one of them most likely attacked Jade. We just don't know who. Now I do think they're dragging this story a bit much, to be honest. I feel like I understand what they're doing, but they're kind of dragging the story a bit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm assuming they're gonna do it at the Rumble, where Jade returns at the Rumble and then takes out or eliminates the person who took her out. I'm assuming that's where they're going with this story. Afterwards, we end up getting a Michin, B-Fab, Piper, and Chelsea Green segment where Michin would no Chelsea and Piper interrupted B-Fab and Michin, if I'm not mistaken. Then B-Fab was sticking up for Michin because Chelsea Green, of course, basically parading, her being U.S. champion. B-Fab sticks up for her. This causes an altercation between Piper and B-Fab, which ends up leading into a match later on into the show. Afterwards, we end up getting Jimmy versus Carmelo Hayes, who actually put on a really good match. This was a really good match. Really, really good match. But towards the end of the match, the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, they end up coming out. They attack Jimmy Uso. Then they end up attacking Carmelo Hayes shortly, because Carmelo was trying to dab up and celebrate with the Bloodline because they took out Jimmy Uso, but they end up taking him out. Then you end up getting Solo Sikoa. He comes out, tries to get on the microphone, but the crowd is booing him. They won't let him speak, and he just leaves. He just leaves with Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu just staring at him, watching him leave through the crowd. Then Jacob Fatu ends up cutting a really good promo. Really, really good promo. Jacob Fatu is impressing me more and more and more. He gets on the microphone. I'm just going to shorten it up. He basically ends up saying that they're tired of the disrespect and that this is not the end. This is only the beginning of the terror. Then you end up getting LA Knight. He comes out, attacks the Bloodline, but the Bloodline ends up getting the upper hand due to the numbers advantage. Then you get Braun Strowman and they evacuate. Well, that's not exactly how it played out. It was a stare down between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Then Tama Tonga pulls Jacob Fatu out of the ring. But it is confirmed that Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman will have a match at Saturday night's main event. Very confused on why that match is happening because I don't understand it. I don't feel like they have enough of a... I guess you could call it a feud, but I don't think they have much of a history to really have this feud. I don't personally understand it, but the match would probably be great nonetheless. I'm just a bit confused. Also, I do not like LA Knight back in the Bloodline stuff. I really don't, because I just feel like it's just... Because I could just tell that it's not going to go anywhere, and what is the end goal? There's really no real end goal, because I don't think no one wins, depending on how that feud plays out. Because I'm assuming they're just going to do what they did previously, where they have them attack, right, for like a week and then they just forget about it. Kind of, like there's really no reason for this to really be happening. But nonetheless, we'll see how this plays out. The main thing I'm interested in is really Jacob Fatu and Tamatonga to really understand where they play with Solo. Now, it looks like they're still aligned with Solo, but the main thing that everyone is eventually predicting is that Jacob Tamatonga will turn on Solo, which will be a very interesting story, and which I do think the direction they should go in, because the story that they've been telling mainly with the OG bloodline with Jay, Jimmy, and Roman constantly talk about how they didn't want to bring them in the first place due to them being too dangerous and not being trustworthy. That would be a perfect way to show that they're dangerous and not trustworthy by them turning on Solo. Plus, it would give the plus you could easily stretch it out to Mania. Because I don't know what Solo does at Mania without him being the tribal chief without the Ulufala. So I think that would be perfect. But we'll see how that plays out. After this win of getting Motor City Machine Guns versus Lost Garza, Pretty Deadly ends up interfering in the match, which they end up causing not disqualification. They interfere trying to help Lost Garza, but that ends up backfiring, and Motor City Machine Guns end up picking up the victory. And now they're the number one contenders for DIY for the tag titles, if I'm not mistaken. Then you end up getting. I'm not gonna really speak about the match. The match was fine. I will say the crowd was very dead for this match. To be fair, I'm not really. I understand why they was dead. They was dead for the next match that I'm gonna mention as well. It makes sense due to them having lack of build, especially Lars Garza. Motor City Machine Guns are slowly getting over with the crowd, but it makes sense why this crowd was dead. Afterwards, you get Piper versus B-Fab. Piper never ends up winning. She won cleanly. It was a bit of shenanigans, but it was mainly B-Fab being too distracted with Chelsea Green. After the match, Piper and Chelsea attacked B-Fab, which allowed Meechin to come in for the save. I will say this with this whole storyline, it is slowly getting better. I do like the backstage segment that they have, because I've been saying that they need more segments. If you have them talk more, show their personality, the feud can be interesting. They need more. The more you keep showing all four of these women personality, the quicker they can. Well, Chelsea Green is already over, but the more that the rest of them can get over with the crowd, and the more entertaining the story can be. Because just having a match just to sake for a match is not going to work. Now, one thing I will say on SmackDown is that they need to improve their feuds that don't involve a title. Because every feud that I'm just now thinking about it literally involves a title, which they do need to fix. They need to improve that, because at least on Raw they have storylines that doesn't involve the title. This has been going on for months that they have stories that doesn't involve the title. Where SmackDown it's a little different, so hopefully they can improve that. Afterwards, we ended up getting Rey Mysterio versus KO. This was a really solid match, but you have Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio. I expect nothing less. Kevin Owens ends up picking the victory, as he should. I will say the match did go on a little too long for my liking, because Kevin Owens is supposed to be built up as a threat to dethrone Cody Rhodes. Not saying Rey Mysterio shouldn't put on a competitive match, but I just feel like it should have went a little bit shorter, and they should have showcased KO being a bit more dominant to really sell the fact that he could actually dethrone Cody Rhodes. In my opinion, I think they should have really emphasize KO being this dangerous threat. That's just me. But after the match, Kevin Owens tries to hit a power driver on Rey Mysterio, but Cody Rhodes, I don't know why I was about to say Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes comes out for the save. They end up brawling. Security breaks them apart, and that's the end of the segment there. Nothing too major there. But after the match, though, Nick Aldis is, of course, furious. He's upset. And he basically ends up saying that they will have a contract signing at Saturday night's main event, and that they will both relinquish their titles to be able to, be hanged at the top, for the ladder match. And then he ends up saying that there will be a special guest who will orchestrate the contract signing with him, and it will be HBK. Don't know where this will lead. I don't know where it will lead to be honest with you. Of course, I'm assuming they're going to brawl at the contract signing. Probably someone goes through a table, like typical contract signings. I don't know what HBK is going to do at Saturday night's main event. The only thing I can think of is that they just bring in HBK just because it's HBK and it's Saturday night's main event. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I don't know how HBK would make the contract signing any more entertaining, or how he would add to the story. But nonetheless, I'm interested, and I see where it plays out. Then we get the main event, Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton wins. This was a solid match. I am very surprised that she won cleanly here, which I'm not complaining about. I actually think more clean victories should happen because I do think Triple H has a bit of a tendency to overdo protections with interferences and some type of injury. I'm actually shocked that she actually had Tiffany beat her cleanly because the story that they've been telling was that Tiffany can't beat Bayley. Every time they have a match, Bayley wins. I'm shocked that they didn't continue that story with some type of injury angle or interference of some sort, or her even cheat. Well, interference is probably wasn't going to happen because Tiffany don't have an ally, but some type of heel type tactic. But she won cleanly, which was very surprising. Overall, this show, it was fine. It was okay. These 3 hour shows, or I wouldn't say drag. This show didn't feel like a drag to get through. I just found myself kind of in and out of the show. It wasn't bad. The stories are slowly progressing. It's just that SmackDown right now doesn't really feel like Royal Rumble. Like, because we're getting closer to the Rumble, it just doesn't feel like Royal Rumble season right now with SmackDown. On Raw, it feels like that to a degree. Where SmackDown is not really feeling that way, in my opinion. But nonetheless, it was an okay show. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.